Welcome to Photo Finds. I'm your host Kevin, and this week we have a ton of material to cover, so let's get started at Downtown Disney, where as you see they've added some new banners in the corner over by the construction zone. So Planet Hollywood and off to the side, Raglan Road right behind us as we take this picture. These buildings probably coming down. You can see some wrecking balls in the background anyway. Now the entire area is kind of cordoned off and has been for a little while, with these walls now getting some new decorations along the sides. So this particular ad pointing to Paradiso just around the corner, Paradiso being over here, and then the walls continue. I've taken shots of this before, but not really in the daytime. And this side of the walls points the other way we just were, toward Raglan Road. There is a walkway under construction near the balloon. Here's a view from the current bridge. And then over to D Street, where as you see one of the Vinylmations coming out this last week was the five-legged goat, the Mary Blair mural stuff from the Grand Canyon Concourse at the Contemporary Resort. Now we were there to buy these, the Park Stars Vinylmations variants, and so they're sold individually and look like the Park Star ones, but kind of old-timey, I guess. While we're at Downtown Disney, we noticed a couple of places selling not just churros, but things like Bavarian cream churros. So here is a view from the monorail of the new bus loop going into place at the Magic Kingdom, which has been decorated for Halloween. Now, it's not Halloween season yet. The first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party hasn't begun, but they've been putting up the decorations, as you can see, and they've got Town Square pretty much already done, and the other decorations going up around the park still sort of every night as they go on. Sometimes we see the lights set up, for instance. This was a stage seen over the top of the wall, really, in Tomorrowland. This is taken from the Astro Orbiter. And the Galaxy stage is used for temporary events, I think for Night of Joy this past weekend, which, as you can see, took place on Friday night and Saturday night, and is a private party for Christian groups. This is a shot of the store at the exit to Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, as you can see under construction from there. This is a shot of the beginning of several shots we're taking of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster. This one taken from Astro Orbiter again, jumping around just a little bit. So we can put all of these shots of the Mine Coaster together into one spot, and you can see the level of progress that's being done on this side, the side we're looking at right here. So it's the second side to get the rock work. It was a little slower in getting its rock work set up. And as you can see now, they're beginning to start blocking off some of the view from these peepholes, so our view is getting a little bit more restricted. And then over on this end, you can see a structure going up right next to the wall. So this is pretty far away, actually, from the mountain itself. A view of the mountain sort of dead on. This is taken from Winnie the Pooh. And then onto the other people, you can see some additional work going on around the track. Obviously, the work continues around the mountain itself. There's a reflection. Those towers are obviously not part of the mountain. And then around to the front side, over closer to the Be Our Guest side, highly zoomed in there. You can see the level of detail going around the outside of the drop. Swinging around to the back side of the mountain, where there's still more to look at. In fact, it looks like there's another entrance right there to the Prince Eric area, where this zone here for strollers has recently opened up. Someone pointed out to me that this door is highly detailed. In fact, these are in the shape of a trident, if you look at those, the hinges on the door. And then there's a new facility open up around the side here. It serves drinks and fruits. It's basically a fruit stand. And as you can see, they've got some individually bottled drinks as well as things that are for sale that will come in like a cup. Now, many of you have seen this previously. I've never been able to make it work, and someone finally explained it to me. We are at the exit to the Under the Sea ride, Little Mermaid ride, and we're looking at supposedly a hidden Mickey. In fact, the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse from the first cartoon. Now, these are the two dots from his trousers. There's one leg, there's the other leg, and then this is Mickey now turned sideways. So the top part of this is to be the Mickey Mouse face. And so if I look from a slightly different angle, you can see his two eyes right here and the hat going upwards from there. And then there's overgrowth now, but there's something in the shape of the wheel that Mickey is turning. So you're meant to look at this sort of thing almost from above. You know, it's kind of a weird angle, but a highly hidden Mickey. Princess Fairy Tale Hall has added some more to its decorations on the outside. You can see the PhotoPass entrance sign there on the left, and standby entrance will be off on the right from the main mural. And then they have these banners for every conceivable princess. So going back one slide, Merida, obviously, with the bow and arrow. Tangled, Mulan, Snow White. This would be Tiana, so Princess and the Frog. There's Aladdin's lamp, so that's Jasmine. Cinderella's slipper, and the seashell, I guess, for Little Mermaid. And then Pocahontas. The book would be for Belle. And then sort of actually around the corner from all of those is the spindle for Sleeping Beauty. A couple of shots of the Princess Fairy Tale Hall from a distance. And then we switch over to Haunted Mansion, where these Fast Pass signs are new. I've been told that at nighttime, actually, they glow pretty brightly. Here's a close-up of the Fast Pass entrance with a bat design. Sleepy Hollow Refreshments has raised the prices of the chicken and chicken waffles. Although in this particular case it says it's serving all night for Night of Joy. That's because I took it on a day when Night of Joy was going to be performing that evening. Over to Epcot, where several of these pylons in the parking area have gotten a trench built around them, and another one had giant chunks of styrofoam, as if they're going to construct a bit of a wall around these so that they don't get struck by vehicles, I guess. And we are here primarily to have a look at Fountain View. Now, Fountain View was previously the Fountain View Bakery, and as you can tell already, it's Starbucks. They make they're not trying to hide it here. In fact, they kind of go out of their way to point out that it's a Starbucks with both the logo and then the word Starbucks are on the outside. Now, if you come down this walkway to the side here, the wheelchair ramp, you'll spot this sign out in the front, again with the Starbucks logo and some of their sandwiches. But the back side of this sign is interesting because it's got a Communicore symbol on it. This is the logo for what is now Innoventions in the background, back when Epcot had logos for every pavilion. So let's circle back around and have a look inside the Starbucks. As you walk in the front door, you see these signs advertising the breakfast sandwiches, which are in fact served all day. So it's a little deceiving to call them breakfast. And here's what it looks like. Pretty modern inside, actually. Where the decor looks a little bit like what they've done with the China update, the restaurants there. And they're selling their ground coffee and their drinks, mixes, of course, as well as all of the coffees that you could imagine a Starbucks having. Here are what the prices look like, just so you can compare to your local Starbucks. And they've got many treats available for sale as well. And you can see that they're fairly competitively priced, certainly for Disney prices. And then the coffee stuff over on the side. I thought this was interesting. They serve it to you not only in Starbucks bags, but also in Starbucks branded Disney Parks cups. So it's a very specific cup for the Starbucks Disney overlap. Here's another view of it from the side. These pillars are kind of Fortress of Solitude Superman looking, I suppose, but the whole thing is all blues and whites when you're inside. None of the tables are inside. There's a few tables around the outside, and there's no more access to the Innoventions hallway in the background here. This used to be accessible back when it was Fountain View Bakery. This is a car from outside of Test Track. It's a cool wash area, and if you're familiar with it, you will notice that the design is new. It's got a red look to it now instead of what was previously the blue car matching the kind of Tron look inside Test Track. Speaking of Test Track, I hadn't previously noticed that the shop at the end of it was now named after Market Shop. It had a different kind of name previously, and so let's take a look inside, and you see that the decor has been changed around slightly. Those banners in the background are new. Obviously, they match the Test Track logo, and they've got some kind of blue designs around the building, some new merchandise as well. And then, in fact, let's look at some of the merchandise. Here are what the t-shirts look like in the area. Some are Chevrolet, some are Test Track specific. So here are some Test Track specific pieces of merchandise. Here are others that some of them struck me as new. I hadn't seen all of them previously. So I'd seen the Mickey Mouse one before, but not this one. And then these both looked new to my eyes as well. And then out to World Showcase, where this cart caught my eye because although the outdoor vending or ODV carts long have had a design, I'm not sure that they've always been this brown design with the World Showcase pavilion logos around the outside. I think it was something more blue previously. Now we are here to have a look at the booths under construction for the Food and Wine Festival, which begins and not too far off in the future. Most of them were done except the one we just passed a moment ago. They have different layers of, or different levels, I should say, of how creative and ornate they are. Some of them are more basic. This is the country of cheese, if you will. Others are more basic, like you see here. And still, some of them have gained different kinds of rooftops over the years. We'll look at a couple of others of those as we swing back around. Now, this is the American Pavilion, where their booth is over on the side here. And off in the background, we've shown you the construction underway before. It is now announced via sign that these are, in fact, going to be restrooms in the back here of the American Pavilion. No word yet on how large they are, but this is sorely needed in that part of the park. Let's also pause while we're here to look at something new. This kiosk was not there the last time I had gone around. It is for the Disney Visa cards. And so they are obviously pushing this here as well as in the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom one is over in the Haunted Mansion area. I like the touch that this lantern here is the same as the one used in the Kinsey exhibit inside that tells the story with video. So back to the booth tour. There's the Florida one and the Japan one. Swinging over to the Morocco area, we see a shop. There are actually a few that are going to be shops rather than actual booths. And a little digression while we're here at Morocco. There's the new stage. It looks pretty permanent to me. It's mounted on the side of the structure rather than on the water side, because obviously the new restaurant is going in over there. And you can see that the booth that used to be right here is now slid over to the side here. That sells things like beer and punch and so forth. And they're now covering up this Kingdom of Morocco sign that is next to the museum right at the beginning of the Morocco Pavilion. There's that restaurant under construction. We'll swing over past that to the area that's going to house Belgium. So this one appears to be perhaps Hawaii, perhaps New Zealand. There's the Belgian booth and the France booth. And from here we'll take a look over the bridge at the Morocco restaurants still undergoing construction. Spice Road, I think it's called, Spice Road Table. This area near the exit to International Gateway, also under construction. They're changing out the turnstiles there, as is the construction at the back of the United Kingdom area. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing here, but it's related to the Winnie the Pooh meet and greet area, so perhaps they're pushing out the building to the side there. That would be welcome, since that's always a crowded spot, and Winnie the Pooh is always very crowded. A lot of Doctor Who merchandise has moved into the shop here in the United Kingdom. You can see several different types of t-shirts and posters in the background. And then this caught my eye, the golf ball washing mechanism, which is part of the Kim Possible, now Agent P game. Didn't always have this photo behind it, I think. It's a small little detail that has changed. Continuing with the tour of the booths under construction, you can see some of the ornate rooftops in some of these booths. Greece being one of the very first ones to go from a boring to a more enhanced booth look. That was several years ago now. And from here we swing back around to the very front. There's the craft beer one, and then I believe that's probably the vegetarian one, and we conclude our tour around. Now, this particular shot is taken from Norway, where we are looking at the FastPass Plus post, where a friend of mine is about to use the wristband to reserve, or to go take part in the reservation that was made previously with FastPass Plus. So you approach it, and then when you get close, it circles around, and then it turns green as it recognizes you. Over to Electric Umbrella, where there's a couple of new things. The vegetarian flatbread is new, and the macaroni and cheese burger is new, which is reportedly actually quite good and very salty. The Mission Space exit area has this new mission roster. Once upon a time, they had some sort of game here that never really took off, so they've replaced it with these video screens that are presently not turned on. Maybe it'll be something having to do with My Magic Plus. Spaceship Earth has added these signs up at the front, the FastPass Plus and Standby signs. And inside Spaceship Earth itself, the place was so dead, I felt it was okay to do something unthinkable, really, and that's take a flash photo from inside, because this entire machine, if you're familiar with it, has been covered up with a scrim looking like the machine. So they've obviously got some construction going on in there. And then around a corner from there, in the lunar landing sequence, it's really a living room scene, you're probably familiar with the records lying on the floor. It was previously the Beatles' White Album, and now it is the music from Lady and the Tramp. This little area of Innoventions was once home to Rockin' Robots, and became home to benches, really. And then it was undercover for a couple of weeks. I'm not really sure what exactly they were doing, except perhaps painting the walls. The escalator in the Land Pavilion has opened up here next to Living with the Land, but they've now closed the other one. On the land ride itself, more of these signs have shown up saying not to touch the sand, and it occurred to me in that first biosphere that actually they've changed out some of the plants. I've not seen some of these signs before, and so they've got a greater variety of signs, and in fact they've got more hidden Mickeys. Now you're probably perhaps used to seeing the hidden Mickey that is on the left side of the boat. This is on the right side of the boat. They've got an extra hidden Mickey over here, and this is kind of a hidden Minnie Mouse. There's a bow on that one there. The next slide will show the one that's been there for years, and that's the hidden Mickey on the left side of the boat. More of the plants that are new, neem and Swiss chard. And you can see some of the plants in the back have gotten actually quite tall, including some sugarcane that's not listed here, not shown here. These hops grown in the Mickey Mouse shape. And obviously they're still working on some of the trees, or new trees that have been growing here, the sweet potato tree in this case. And they're not doing much with this this system anymore that dangles the roots down. They've got different kinds of displays going into place here, although it is still there on the other side where now they're surrounded by cactus, which is somewhat new. You know it's the off season when it's 5 p.m. and the standby line is only 15 minutes for Soarin'. Now, we had also taken part this past weekend in the meetup from the Disney Parks blog. This was at the California Grill reopening. So as you can see, they're going to have a lot of drinks and appetizers available for the mix-up. I wanted you to see what the decor was like. So if you've not been up here before, a few things have changed. I think these windows at the bottom were previously not windows. They were actual wall, and so they've made it more of a picture window look to it, and you can look out over the Magic Kingdom. There's Space Mountain and the castle, and there's the Bay Lake Tower. In case you've not been up at this restaurant before, the view is really quite stunning over the Seven Seas Lagoon. And they'll be adding more in the way of tables to this area. It's obviously just a reception area for this private event. Now, they did feed us at this private event. It was free to attend, but it was quite limited just to people who had signed up early on. They wanted people to sample the food, which really meant a lot of different kinds of sushi. It was really expertly prepared. I thought it was well done indeed. That's what the tables look like normally. And the rest of the balcony area, I guess the overlook area. The balconies are out on the side, and you'll see those in a moment as well. Here's a different angle of the same area. You can see some of what the carpeting looks like and what the upholstery looks like. Here's some more of the food. This was oak-fired filet. That was remarkable beef. It was really very good. Some of the desserts that were offered and included. They have an onstage kitchen, as you can see, where they prepare the food in front of you. I thought it would be interesting to show as well what it looks like, what the atmosphere and ambiance looks like once it becomes nighttime outside. Everything gets dark inside, but it's still brightly lit and kind of cheery inside here. A couple of shots of the food. There's what the sushi looks like up close, and that wonderful oak-fired filet of beef. Here they've got some prosciutto and pate and others. This was halibut, I believe. And then we're going to the Monterey room off to one side where you can see some photos of a woman. Turns out that this woman is, as you might guess from this picture, Mary Blair. So they've got some Mary Blair artwork and some photos of Mary Blair. She's the artist behind the Grand Canyon Concourse in the Contemporary Resort, as well as the original look of It's a Small World. And then they have their reserve wines out in the front. So you actually come upstairs via these elevators here, and then they have, I don't know, about 1,600 reserve wines available as you first exit that elevator there. And then this is one of their other rooms that connects two of the balconies. Now they have balconies going out like wings on both sides of the restaurant. So we're at the very top of the Contemporary Resort. This is the back balcony. The front balcony is a popular spot to watch Wishes, and you can see the castle in the background there. And in fact, they do pump in the music for Wishes, and so those patrons who are there in the evening can get an overhead view of the fireworks at night. Here's back to that main reception area, now cleared of people, and then a podium they use for some comments at the beginning of the evening. That does it for this week of Photo Finds. We thank you as always for your attention, and we'll catch you next time.